anything to identify this guy.
Nothing was found that could explain what happened to him.
But there was one small detail, a clue so ordinary that it seemed unlikely to lead anywhere.
But my job is to throw bad guys in jail, and I don't want to hurt my family, your family, or anybody else's.
Will one tiny clue be enough to ensure that a vicious killer is finally caught? Grant County, Washington is a wide-open landscape about 200 miles east of Seattle on the I-90 highway.
It's big sky country, sparsely populated, established in 1909. It's named after President Ulysses S. Grant.
And it's 120 miles from the southern tip to the northern tip, and there's a lot of open country.
Its biggest city is Moses Lake, which has about 25,000 people, and the lake itself is the largest body of water in Grant County, with about 120 miles of shoreline.
Moses Lake was dammed in the early 1900s for irrigation purposes. It's part of the Columbia Basin Project, which is the largest water reclamation project in the U.S.
The Columbia River is right on the westmost edge of Grant County, and is the largest river in the Pacific Northwest.
It's a big, beautiful place where travelers can go and get lost in the wonders of nature.
Kimberly Diane LeVine and Edward Terrell Smith are engaged. They're here for the weekend to take in the landscape.
They're a happy couple, enjoying a relaxing couple of days, surrounded by beautiful wilderness.
Kimberly Diane LeVine is born in Peterborough, New Hampshire on January 2nd, 1958.
She's the third of 6 children, with 2 older brothers, Michael and Joel, 2 younger sisters, Nancy and Shannon, and 1 younger brother, Robert. Her father, Bob LeVine, becomes particularly attached to baby Kim because she's such a sweet, loving child, and she's feisty.
Kim enters kindergarten in Laconia, New Hampshire in 1963. Kim goes to high school in Dover, New Hampshire. In her senior year, she has to switch to a new school in Wrentham, Massachusetts, when her father gets a job there.
What makes matters even worse for Kim is that her father is the new principal at her school.
She puts her head down and she studies hard. Kim graduates with high marks and even makes the National Honor Society.
Kim has good enough grades to get into the very best colleges and universities. But instead, she decides to enlist in the United States Air Force.
She does a 4-year tour of duty, which includes being stationed in North Carolina, Guam, and the Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines.
After her time in the military, Kim studies the job market and decides to become an accountant. She enrolls at the University of Southeastern Massachusetts at Dartmouth.
At university, Kim meets Eddie Smith, who's also studying accounting. They hit it off.
Edward Terrell Smith is born in Fall River, Massachusetts on August 11th, 1958.
Eddie's smart, but he doesn't apply himself in school, so his grades aren't as good as they could be.
When Eddie applies himself, he does very well. His SAT scores are in the 99th percentile. He attends Bristol Community College in Fall River, Massachusetts, and graduates in 1982 with a 4.0 cumulative GPA.
Eddie goes on to University of Southeastern Massachusetts and Dartmouth to study accounting, which is where he meets Kim LeVine.
There's no doubt that Kim and Eddie get along well. It isn't too long before they fall in love. Kim and Eddie both graduate with degrees in accounting in 1984. Kim is at the very top of the class. After graduation, they both move to Kent, Washington, part of the greater Seattle area.
Eddie gets a job at the CPA firm of Shannon and Associates. and Kim works as an accountant for a government agency.
Eddie does well at his new job and is told that the firm considers him to be partnership material. Kim and Eddie get engaged. They plan to return east in the summer of 1985 to be married in front of their friends and families. On Saturday, March 9th, 1985, Kim and Eddie leave on a road trip together through Grant County.
When Kimberly and Ed moved from the East Coast to the West Coast, they moved into the Seattle area. When they came through, they saw the Columbia River. They bought a new car and then decided they were going to go for a trip and they were going to go look at the Columbia River.
They're due back at work on Monday, so it's really just a one-night vacation in their brand new Toyota.
Somewhere along the I-90, Kim and Eddie simply vanish. On Monday morning, neither Kim nor Eddie shows up at work.
They're both known to be reliable employees. It's not just like them to not show up. They don't answer their phones, and nobody can find them.
After failing to contact Eddie and Kim several times, their employers call the King County Sheriff's Department and file a missing persons report.
King County includes Seattle and stretches east for about 50 miles. Kim and Eddie drove much further than that, but their employers don't know it.
Days go by, and the missing persons investigation fails to turn up any trace of the young couple.
If they had car trouble and were stuck somewhere, they'd have called by now. Now, if they're hurt and can't call, well, someone else should have done it for them. To just disappear without a trace, that's very concerning.
Where are Kimberly LeVine and Edward Smith? And what has happened to them? The answers are too horrible to contemplate.
Hey, I just got a text from my sister. You remember Rick, her neighbor?
Sure. He's the 76-year-old guy who still runs marathons, right?
Sadly, not anymore.
What? You mean...
Mm-hmm. Just like that.
Wow. So sudden. We're not about to have the we need life insurance conversation again, are we?
No, we're having the we're getting coverage so we don't have to worry about it conversation.
So you're calling about the $9.95 a month plan from Colonial Penn?
I am. We put it off long enough. We are getting that $9.95 plan today.
Is it time for you to call about the $9.95 plan? I'm Jonathan from Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company. Sometimes we just need a reminder not to take today for granted. It could be the death of someone you know or a health scare. That's why today could be a great day to call for free information about Colonial Penn's $9.95 plan. If you're age 50 to 85, you can get guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance starting at just $9.95 a month. There are no health questions, so you can't be turned down for any health reason. This is permanent coverage. Just pay your premiums for lifelong security. The $9.95 plan is Colonial Penn's #1 most popular whole life plan. Options start at just $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. Your rate can never go up. It's locked in for life. Don't put it off. Take the first easy step. Call today for free information. And you'll also get this free beneficiary plan. So call now.
Call 1-800-685-1515 for your free information and free gift. That's 1-800-685-1515. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-685-1515. 1-800-685-1515. Call now.
Hello, Colonial Penn?
At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves on giving you fast, reliable, nationwide coverage at up to half the cost of the leading carriers. But don't worry, we've got more than that going for us. Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we probably got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. If it's state-of-the-art cameras you want, we got them. If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we've got that too. We even have a flip phone, like the Iris Flip. We even have watches. I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have one of these amazing stores in my town yet? Can I get these phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Is it easy?
Easy as pie.
New customers save $50 when you sign up today. Call 800-918-5494. Find us in Target or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone.
I have PCOS. It can cause unexplainable weight gain. Having to go through Weight Watchers Clinic and now taking a GLP-1, you just feel that extra level of support. And I'm like 2 pounds away from my goal weight, which is like...
NetCredit is here to say yes, even when other lenders won't. Apply online in minutes and get funds deposited the next business day or sooner. NetCredit. Credit to the people. The I-90 interstate crosses America from east to west, from Seattle to Boston. On its western end, it passes through Grant County in Washington State. On Saturday, March 9th, 1985, Kimberly Diane LeVine and Edward Terrell Smith take the I-90 to Grant County for a relaxing weekend together.
They just bought a new rose-colored Toyota together and wanted to take it out for an outing.
They are never seen again.
A missing persons report is filed, but nothing turns up. A week later, police get their first break.
On March 16th, 1985, state highway workers find an abandoned car parked at a lookout just off the I-90, northeast of Vantage, Washington.
That's a fairly good size turnout for people to go in and look at the Columbia River. The car was that rose-colored Toyota Corolla, brand spanking new.
It only has 1,200 miles on it, not the kind of vehicle you expect to see abandoned in the middle of nowhere.
Where the overlook is at, it's wide open there at the house for miles. In fact, the Wanapum Dam is the closest building other than the buildings across the river.
Detectives have already been in the area for several days after 2 boys made a gruesome discovery 6 days earlier.
On March 10th, 2 boys find a dead man in a gravel pit with his hands tied behind his back.
He was found by a couple of boys that were going to go down to that pit and shoot bottles in the bottom of the pit. And when they got to the rim, that's when they saw him.
It's clear that he's the victim of foul play. His hands are bound with a yellow poly rope with a blue strand in it, and his throat is being slashed. There are several different sets of footprints going in and out of the pit.
One of those footprints was a cowboy boot type footwear. And the only reason I know that is because I wear cowboy boots every day. And they were similar to mine. So we took plaster casts of those.
The coroner, Penny Sibley, confirms that the cause of death is a laceration to the neck. It's also clear that the body was dumped in the gravel pit no more than 24 hours before it was found.
So in all likelihood, this man was killed on Saturday, March 9th. But without knowing who he is, it's almost impossible to know why.
We only found 1 set of tire tracks, and we took plaster casts of those tire tracks, and they ended up being the tires from the Corolla.
When lead investigator Detective Michael Shea learns about the abandoned Toyota car, he gets closer to identifying the body in the gravel pit.
King County Detective Joe Purcell came in and said, we have a missing person, 2 missing persons, and their car was located in your county. And that was the first we knew about the car, even though we drove by it. Every time we went down to the crime scene, we had to drive right by that car.
Shea needs someone to identify the body found in the gravel pit.
Detective Joe Purcell said, hey, I'm going to bring Ed Smith's dad, and we're going to take a look at the car. And great, we have a homicide. We'll have a picture of the victim. And we met him at the car. And that's when we finally got Ed Smith identified positively. And so now we had at least some place to start.
The parked car is now the 2nd crime scene in the murder case.
So we impounded that car and took it to our impound yard, and where King County actually did the fingerprints of the car.
There are 2 sets of fingerprints inside the car. One is from Edward Smith, the other is from his fiancée, Kim LeVine.
And there is 1 fingerprint on the hood of the car that doesn't match either of them.
Eddie Smith is dead. But where is Kim LeVine?
Once we identified Ed Smith and knew we had a missing person, we then searched the whole area for miles.
On Tuesday, March 19, 1985, a helicopter is brought in from the Chelan County Sheriff's Office to scan the area.
Larry Boyd, Chief Criminal Deputy for the Grant County Sheriff's Office, calls a press conference to explain the police efforts to locate Kim LeVine.
He says a sheriff's boat will be used to search the Columbia River. They are particularly interested in the areas behind the nearby Wanapum Dam and the Priest Rapids Dam further down the river.
On Saturday, March 23, 1985, a massive foot search is conducted. Searchers include deputies, Job Corps workers, and the sheriff's mounted posse.
We had our sheriff's posse ride that whole area.
Deputy Boyd acknowledges that police can't rule out Kim LeVine as a suspect, but he says that he believes that she's a victim of foul play.
The couple were testing out their new car. Maybe they picked up a hitchhiker.
At this point, almost anything could have happened. It's a very puzzling case.
This one was important because you had a boyfriend-girlfriend that was completely innocent. The parents were really, really nice people, really concerned.
As days and weeks go by with no trace of Kim and no further evidence found, the case gradually goes cold.
And anytime we got information, we had an information box that if it came in, a tip came in from anybody, it went into that information box and we looked into it.
2 months after Eddie's body is found, Kim's father, Bob LeVine, flies to Washington from his home in Oxford, Maine, and demands to know why his daughter hasn't been found yet.
On Thursday, August 15, 1985, more than 5 months after Eddie and Kim are first reported missing, there's another break in the case.
At 9:45 a.m., about 2.5 miles south of the gravel pit where Eddie's body was found, rabbit hunters come across a female body deep in the brush.
She was not disturbed by animals at all. She was just mummified, laying on top of the ground.
Could this be Kimberly LeVine? And if so, what happened to her?
Anyone home?
And here, Aunt Jean. How's it going, honey? There's a lot to take care of. More sympathy cards.
Your mom was well loved. I hope you know how grateful she was to have you.
I know. Speaking of grateful, what is it? It's a check from United of Omaha Life Insurance Company. Mom's life insurance.
Life insurance? So soon?
Just like they said.
My sister, always looking out for her family.
I can still hear her. I don't want my bills to be your problem. This check will help a lot.
If you're age 45 to 85, you can't be turned down for up to $25,000 in life insurance from United of Omaha. Policies start at just $6.38 a month, and benefits could be paid in as little as 24 hours.
How did she qualify? You know, with her health issues.
With these policies, health issues don't matter. She was so relieved.
Policies are available with no health questions, no medical exam, no blood tests.
I just assumed life insurance would be way over my budget.
No one kept a tighter budget than Mom. If she can manage the rates, you can too.
But did her rates go up every year?
Nope. There's a rate lock built into the policy.
Policies start at just $6.38 a month. Your rate is locked in for life. The cost of a funeral can be $9,000 or more. With one call, you can give your loved ones the protection they need to help pay these costs. And unlike some policies, benefits are payable from the first day.
Mom just felt better knowing we'd have help, and I couldn't be more grateful. You should call United of Omaha.
I guess I'll never stop learning from my big sister.
Don't put off life insurance. Call United of Omaha today.
Call 800-305-0596. You can't be turned down. Call today to lock in your rates. 800-305-0596. That's 800-305-0596.
Why is Navage perfect for allergies?
People who have allergies will have lots of problems. If someone's exposed to allergens, they can get rid of those immediately by washing out the nose. Navage works by pulling saline in one nostril, through the nose and out the other nostril, sucking out allergens, mucus, dust, and germs. Experience on-the-spot relief so you could breathe easier, sleep better, Feel healthier. If you have seasonal allergies, Navage can help.
Available at major retailers or online at Navage.com.
Drive Time has a big announcement. An even easier way to buy a car. You make the deal yourself.
I made the deal myself.
It lets you customize the real down payment and monthly payment of the car you want to buy.
It's the Drive Time Real Deal Maker.
Get the real deal at drivetime.com.
Looking for a way to stretch the dollar? With Insurify, you can cut your car insurance bill in half. Scroll through dozens of prices and tap to switch online. That's it. No phone calls and no wasted time. Go to Insurify and save today.
Coming up next on True Crime Network. Seattle area residents Edward Terrell Smith and Kimberly Diane LeVine go missing while on a weekend road trip. In the week that follows, Eddie's body is found in a gravel pit with his throat slashed. And their brand new Toyota car is found abandoned a few miles away at a scenic overlook above the Columbia River. 5 months later, a second body is found 2.5 miles away.
She was found by rabbit hunters that were going through. And we had our sheriff's posse ride that whole area, but I don't know whether they stopped short of where she was at, and that's why we didn't find her. But she was, 2 or 3, 4 miles away, but where she was found was 5-foot sagebrush, and she would have been hard to see. Once she was found, we secured the scene. We were there for 2 days processing that scene.
An autopsy is performed on the weekend of August 17th, 1985 by Dr. George Lindholm, a forensic pathologist and a consultant to the Spokane County Coroner's Office.
Just like Eddie, Kim's hands and feet have been bound with a particular type of nylon rope.
He was, again, tied with the yellow poly rope with a blue strand, just like Ed was. When the coroner takes knots off, ropes off, we photograph the ropes and the knots.
Dr. Lindholm is unable to determine the cause of death.
Kimberly was tied hands and feet with her pants unbuttoned. Don't know whether she was raped because she had been laying in the brush long enough that she mummified, and so they weren't able to determine whether she was actually raped or.
On Tuesday, August 21st, 1985, Grant County Sheriff Felix Ramon confirms that the body of the woman found 2.5 miles from Eddie Smith's body is his fiancée, Kimberly LeVine.
Sheriff Ramon admits there are no strong leads indicating who might have done this.
Kim's father, Bob LeVine, blames the police for not finding his daughter sooner.
It's just unfortunate that she was so well hidden by the wilderness.
With both bodies found, investigators are still no closer to solving their murders. But then another young couple goes missing. On Monday, August 12th, 1985, just 3 days before Kim's remains are found, a missing persons report is filed on 27-year-old Stephen Harkins and his girlfriend Ruth Cooper, age 42.
They're from Tacoma, Washington, which is very close to Kent, Washington, where Kim and Eddie live.
And just like Kim and Eddie, Stephen and Ruth failed to show up for work on Monday morning.
On Saturday, August 10th, Stephen and Ruth go to a wedding reception in Tacoma. Afterwards, they go camping at Tule Lake, which is about 10 miles south of Tacoma.
They plan to be home on Sunday night, but when they fail to show up at work on Monday, well, their co-workers and their families become concerned.
On Wednesday, August 14th, 1985, hikers stumble onto a horrifying sight when they find a dead man inside a sleeping bag. It appears that he was shot in the head while he was sleeping. Investigators identify the body as Stephen Harkins, but his girlfriend Ruth is nowhere to be found. On Saturday, October 26, 1985, a skull is found at a dead end near Harts Lake.
2 days later, the rest of Ruth's remains are found about 50 feet away.
The The similarities to Kim and Eddie's murders are undeniable. Police have to wonder if they're dealing with a serial killer. Now, before the investigation can lead to any answers, a third couple goes missing in the same general area.
On Thursday, December 12, 1985, shoppers in Spanaway, Washington make a strange discovery.
A 2-year-old girl is wandering around the Kmart shopping center by herself. She's distraught and crying. Customers and staff try to find her parents to no avail. All that the girl can tell them is, "Mommy is in the trees."
It turns out that the girl's parents are 21-year-old Diana Robertson and 36-year-old Mike Reimer of Tacoma, Washington, and they are missing. On Tuesday, February 18, 1986, a motorist discovers a dead body half buried in the snow.
The remains are confirmed to be that of Diana Robertson. An autopsy shows she was stabbed 17 times.
Both couples are from Tacoma, and Kim and Eddie are only a short drive away in Kent.
Diana and Ruth are both found with a tube sock tied around their neck. That's not the murder weapon, and it does nothing to restrain the women. So it seems like some kind of twisted signature that a serial killer might leave behind. Mike Reimer has a history of abusive behavior. According to friends and family, he would frequently beat Diana.
He's a trapper and an outdoorsman. Maybe he graduated to hunting humans in the woods.
A warrant is issued for Mike Reimer's arrest. The only problem is, Mike's vanished.
The following is a paid presentation for the premium mattress topper by Dormeo.
This is good. I love it. Super comfy.
Great.
Oh yeah, this is good.
Feels like it's a brand new mattress.
Yeah, it's a lot more comfortable. That's a good feeling.
That's nice.
There's a reason why our customers are so satisfied and look forward to going to bed at night. And no, it's not what you're thinking.
I love how firm and sturdy it is. It's really nice.
Happiness is a good mattress.
They're not talking about a new mattress. They're talking about the premium mattress topper. Because they all took the Dormeo Sleep Challenge and were blown away by the difference that it made. With awards from Good Housekeeping and being so highly rated by Consumer Reports, we truly believe that this is the world's most comfortable mattress topper. It's 3 luxurious inches thick, and it fits right under your sheets. It can transform the quality of your sleep and the quality of your life.
Well, I think we might just stay here for a while.
Much more comfortable, soft.
Oh no, this works. This is really comfy.
This is amazing. I'm really surprised.
I'm so shocked that this is actually just a topper.
Do you feel the love?
I can feel the love of this mattress, Paige.
And it's not just our customers who rate us so highly. We partnered with Sleep Score Labs to study and really find out why is our technology making such an impact on people's sleep and therefore their lives.
Most consumers are looking for a non-invasive way to improve their sleep and a non-pharmacological way to improve their sleep. And with the Dormeo product, we've shown that it improves deep sleep, it improves the amount of wakefulness after sleep onset, reducing the amount of wake. Any product that can enhance the amount of deep sleep that you get throughout the night is going to have likely a beneficial effect on our overall health and potentially even our longevity. And the Dormeo product in particular is exciting because it improves deep sleep and also improves the amount of total sleep by reducing the amount of wakefulness after sleep onset.
This is an Octaspring. There are hundreds of Octasprings in every one of our premium mattress toppers, all moving independently to the rhythm of your body as you sleep. We can make the foam with different firmness, and this allows us to create zones in our mattress topper. This gives you better alignment, which allows you to sleep deeper, sleep longer, with less tossing and turning, less waking up during the night. And that's why our customers are sleeping better and they're waking up in the morning with less aches and pains and feeling happy.
I have back issues, so it allows my body to sort of sink where it needs to sink, but be supportive where it needs to be supportive. And I don't wake up and feel like I'm, in pain or anything.
The value of being able to not wake up with muscle pain and joint aches, that's priceless.
They're not tossing and turning as much due to pain, caused by pressure points. And they wake up in the morning feeling more refreshed, saying, "Thank you, Dormeo." So with the Octaspring technology, Because of all these air holes, it's so breathable. The hot air gets pushed out as you sleep, and the cool air comes in, and you're able to sleep better at night because you're at a cooler body temperature. It is proven to be 8 times more breathable than regular memory foam.
There are times where I shut my eyes at night and the next time I wake up is when my alarm is going off, and that is rare and a gift when you're a middle-aged woman now, as I am.
Delivering amazing customer service and continued innovation has helped Dormeo become one of the fastest growing sleep brands in the world.
I've been in the bedding industry for a long time, and I'm a total bed snob. This topper is beautifully made, from the stitching to the feel of the cover, the comfort of the foam, the technology inside, the straps that keep it in place. It's a true testament to you get what you pay for. And the emphasis that we put on the quality of our product and the comfort it delivers is the same emphasis that we put into our customer care.
Take the Dormeo Sleep Challenge today. See for yourself why our customers, Sleep Score Labs, and even Consumer Reports rate us so highly. I know you'll be glad you did.
Now is your chance to take the Dormeo Sleep Challenge. Order now and save 30%. Plus, get free shipping and will include our Better Sleep Guide. Sleep on your Dormeo topper for 100 nights. If you're not truly amazed at the luxurious comfort and improved quality of sleep, you can get a full refund. Dormeo comes with a 10-year limited warranty and money-back guarantee. Take the Dormeo Sleep Challenge and start sleeping better now. The preceding was a paid presentation for the Premium Mattress Topper by Dormeo.
The investigation into the March 1985 murders of Edward Smith and Kimberly LeVine is unresolved, but apparently connected with 2 similar attacks on Seattle area couples several months apart. Authorities fear that a serial killer is at work, and they wonder if the killer might be Mike Reimer, the male partner of one of the couples.
It's just a supposition at this point. Reimer's girlfriend's body has been found, but he has simply vanished. The murder of Kim and Eddie seemed to be different from the other killings.
In both cases of the killings of the women from Tacoma, Ruth Cooper and Diana Robertson, tube socks were found tied around their necks.
These were displays left by the killer. The women weren't strangled with the socks.
4 years go by, and these seemingly connected murders remain unsolved.
Kim LeVine's father, Bob, has been very active in trying to get justice. After 4 years of waiting, he's starting to believe that his daughter's murder may never be solved.
Basic evidence collected over the years by detectives in Washington state is entered into a national computerized database.
Fingerprints have been around for years, but it was never automated.
The FBI created a fingerprint system back in 1924, but it had to be manually searched by human beings. It was basically impossible to compare fingerprints in the system unless you first suspected a connection between 2 separate prints.
So when the state finally went automated, we thought, all right, we're going to solve some more crime. And that's exactly what this did.
In the late 80s, law enforcement introduced a new computer system called the Automated Fingerprint Identification System, or AFIS for short. And the floodgates just opened on cold cases everywhere.
I was trained as a fingerprint expert for the sheriff's office because of AFIS.
Simply getting all the existing fingerprints into the AFIS system is a huge job, and there were new prints being collected every day.
Modern technology has helped law enforcement immensely, but they're no good if you don't do your job and gather the evidence.
Fortunately, a lone fingerprint was collected from the hood of Eddie and Kim's new Toyota by Detective Shea's investigative team back in 1985.
So having King County and their evidence technician come over and find that fingerprint was huge for us.
It's a clue, but it isn't necessarily the killer's print. It could be from a gas station attendant or even the guy who sold them the car. But it's worth entering the print into the AFIS system. The question is, Who does it belong to?
It came up negative for the longest time.
In January of 1989, Detective Shea gets the answer he's been waiting for.
The big turnaround was when the APIS people in Olympia, Washington called us and said, guess what, we have a hit. And your bad guy is Billy Ray Ballard.
At this time, Billy Ray Ballard is in a prison in Wyoming.
He was in custody in Rawlins, Wyoming State Penitentiary, for a rape and kidnapping of a gal at a convenience store. That's how we got his fingerprint and was able to tie it to the fingerprint that we found on Ed Smith's car.
Ballard had connections to a number of violent crimes, some solved and others not.
I did a complete check on his criminal background, found out that he was involved in a possible murder down in Texas, where he was in possession of the gun that killed the guy they found in a rock quarry.
Eddie Smith was killed in a quarry. This suggests a pattern in the locations Ballard chose to kill people.
We also found out that he was a suspect in another abduction of a man and a woman in Salmon, Idaho, where he stabbed a man, left him for dead, and then raped a woman.
Ballard liked to choose young couples as his target, and this case was very similar to what happened to Eddie and Kim.
To bring charges against Ballard for cold cases like 1985 murders of Eddie and Kim, Detective Shea will need as much evidence as possible.
And we decided to go on a road trip, see if we could interview all the detectives that had investigated Billy Ray Ballard. We went to Salmon, Idaho first. Salmon, Idaho said that they didn't prosecute because the female victim was a secretary for a police department in Utah, and she didn't want to press charges. And he stabbed the man there numerous times. He didn't try to kill him like he did Ed Smith, but he stabbed him a number of times, and then he raped the gal.
By extraordinary luck, the victims in the Salmon, Idaho attack survived.
We were also able to find out where Billy Ray Ballard was residing at the time of our homicide. That was in Thompson Falls, Montana. His mom had a small farm.
The couple said Ballard drove a white van, and Shea knew he had to find that vehicle.
We then went to Missoula and contacted the state detectives there. They helped us draft up a search warrant for the farm and that van.
When Shea got to Montana, he needed local law enforcement's help to locate and impound Ballard's van.
The van is sitting on Ballard's mother's property. While searching inside the van, Detective Shea finds something highly incriminating.
We were hoping to find some more evidence that would link Billy Ray Ballard other than just a fingerprint. Because at our crime scenes, both of them, with Kimberly LeVine and Ed Smith, we found a poly rope with a blue strand in it.
Shea now had reason to conclude that this van, driven by Ballard on the day he killed Eddie and Kim in Washington State.
So we photographed the van, we seized all the evidence that would relate to our case.
Next, Shea went to Missoula, Montana, where Ballard's ex-wife was living.
She was very helpful. In her possession, she had a .22 rifle that had a sling on it. The sling was made out of that yellow rope with a blue strand, so it was identical to what was binding both of our victims.
Ballard is a big man, but detectives always wondered how he was able to control the victims until he tied them up.
We were able to recover a gun that we think that he used to control these people. Because how do you control people with just words? So we had a gun that had the same type of rope.
Shea always wore cowboy boots, just like the killer, who left a pointy-booted print in the mud leading to the quarry where Eddie Smith was murdered. Billy Ray's wife said Ballard preferred cowboy boots.
She said that he was a truck driver and that he wore cowboy boots almost all the time.
Meanwhile, Chief Deputy Bill Weister of the Grant County Sheriff's Department. announces that they have identified a suspect in the killings of Edward Smith and Kimberly LeVine.
Chief Deputy Weister refuses to say who the suspect is or what evidence police have that might link the suspect to the murders.
He does say that 2 detectives have visited 30 cities in 5 different states, interviewing people about the suspect.
Deputy Weister calls it a major break and predicts that they will have enough information to start building a prosecution by the very next week.
Having spoken to everyone they feel might be helpful, Detective Shea goes to Rawlins, Wyoming to interview Billy Ray Ballard at the penitentiary. He is not cooperative.
We had a picture of the victim's car, and we showed him that, and he denied ever being in that car. I've never driven a Toyota Corolla before, never seen that car before. Well, as far as we were concerned, that was as good as an admission because his fingerprint was found in that car.
Shea has an impression of a cowboy boot taken from the mud track leading to the quarry in 1985. Now he wants the boot that made that mark.
We had a search warrant for his property at the penitentiary, which included a pair of cowboy boots.
The boots will be compared to the plaster casts of the footprints taken at the gravel pit where Eddie was found.
On April 28, 1989, Chief Deputy Bill Weister announces that he believes they've identified the murderer.
He explains how the fingerprint taken from the car in 1985 has led them to their suspect, a man who is now an inmate in Wyoming.
Still, the Grant County Sheriff's Department does not release the name of the suspect to the public, but they must be close to an arrest. For family and friends, the news seems to be getting better, but with no arrest, and not even a mention of the suspect's name, well, there's still a lot of apprehension.
When Detective Shea brings his findings to the Grant County prosecutor, the DA says he isn't sure they have enough for a conviction.
I and my partner presented the case to the Grant County prosecutor and told him that we would like to extradite him from the Wyoming State Penitentiary and charge him with 2 counts of murder. And he was a little hesitant. He said, well, I don't know whether we have enough.
If the fingerprints, a matching cowboy boot, and a rare yellow rope with a blue strand aren't enough to bring Billy Ray Ballard to trial for murder, what is?
At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves on giving you fast, reliable, nationwide coverage at up to half the cost of the leading carriers. But don't worry, we've got more than that going for us. Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we probably got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. If it's state-of-the-art cameras you want, we got them. If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we've got that too. We even have a flip phone, like the Iris Flip. We even have watches. I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have one of these amazing stores in my town yet? Can I get these phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Is it easy?
Easy as pie.
New customers save $50 when you sign up today. Call 800-918-5494. Find us in Target or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone.
I'm Jonathan Lawson, here to tell you about life insurance through the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
The 3 what?
The 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54 and was a smoker, but quit. What's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I'm 65, retired, and take medications. What's my price?
Also $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80 and I'm on a fixed income. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn program. Options start at $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. You cannot be turned down because of your health. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, so your rate can never go up for any reason. Options start at $9.95 a month. Plus, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record your important information and give helpful direction to your loved ones with your final wishes. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-600-7900 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-600-7900. There's no risk or obligation. 1-800-600-7900. Call now.
Whatever the crime, answers to mysteries will be revealed. The question is, who's going to benefit by these two deaths?
He was finally caught.
On Dateline.
The investigation into the 1985 murders of Edward Terrell Smith and Kimberly Diane LeVine is stone cold for 4 years. Then, in 1989, a fingerprint lifted from the hood of Eddie Smith's car is matched in a computerized system called APHIS to a Wyoming inmate named Billy Ray Ballard. In Grant County, where Edward and Kimberly were murdered, the Sheriff's Department announces that they finally have a suspect and that they expect to launch a case against him very soon. But then the months pass with no arrests and no further news. For Eddie and Kim's traumatized families, it starts to feel like another dead end.
Prosecutors have to be careful not to move ahead with the case if they can't win. Double jeopardy rules mean that once a suspect is found innocent, he can never be tried again for that crime. So you've really got to be sure your case is solid.
The Grant County DA isn't convinced the case against Ballard is strong enough to go to trial.
He was a little hesitant. He said, well, I don't know whether we have enough. And I said, well, I think we do.
Shea also said he expected Ballard would plead guilty rather than face a conviction that could result in a death penalty in Washington state.
I told him that the detectives that arrested him in all these other jurisdictions said that he would plead guilty if the evidence shows that we're going to convict him.
Billy Ray Ballard was already in prison in Wyoming, serving a 50 to 90-year sentence. He would have to serve at least 30 years before he was eligible for his earliest parole.
But Kimberly's father, Bob LeVine, is extremely persistent. He phones the DA office and police station consistently, demanding to know what's happening. He flies 3,000 miles to talk to prosecutors in person. He simply won't let it go.
It is possible that without Bob LeVine's constant pressure, Billy Ray Ballard would never have been charged with these two murders.
2 full years later, Bob LeVine gets the news he's been waiting for. On Thursday, March 28, 1991, Grant County Prosecutor John Notell announces that a Montana man named Billy Ray Ballard is being charged with 2 counts of aggravated first-degree murder in the deaths of Edward Smith and Kimberly LeVine.
John Notell speculates that Billy Ray Ballard could be brought to Washington to stand trial in the next 3 or 4 months. He also acknowledges that the state may seek the death penalty. The threat of the death penalty is a key strategy for prosecutors. More time in jail might not sound like much of a threat to Billy Ray, but the death penalty may get his attention.
Bob LeVine is very pleased that someone has finally been charged. He tells reporters it's a great sense of relief to have things finally in process.
Now Kimberly's father will have to hope his persistence isn't in vain.
I'm Andrea, founder of a boutique handbag brand, Andy, and this is why I switched to Shopify. It's the challenges that we don't expect, like a site going down or the checkout wouldn't work. What's nice about Shopify is when I'm with my family, when I'm taking time off, knowing that I have a site up and running and our business is moving forward because we have a platform that we can rely on, that is gold to us. Start your free trial with Shopify today.
I have a structured sentiment and I
It's your money. Use it when you need it.
Call 877-CASH now to get a $100 gift card for a free quote.
Vehicle breakdowns are costly.
It started making some really weird noises.
If your check engine light comes on tomorrow, the repair could easily cost thousands.
Here's that transmission.
But with Endurance, you could never pay out of pocket for a costly repair again.
They covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
$1,400. Endurance paid it. Who's going to pay for your next car repair? You or Endurance?
Call right now to get $300 off any plan. Call now.
This is an urgent notice about ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one were recently diagnosed with ovarian cancer after using Johnson & Johnson baby powder products, you may be entitled to a large cash settlement. Plaintiff's attorneys claim Johnson & Johnson knew their products could cause ovarian cancer, but kept the product on the shelf until 2020. Call Legal Injury Advocates now to see if you qualify.
Call 1-800-453-1133 or visit lia.legal. That's 1-800-453-1133.
Winning the lottery might be just a dream, but uninterrupted sleep could become your reality. The Manta Pro Sleep Mask guarantees 100% blackout, so you can indulge in the deepest sleep you've ever had. The C-shaped eye cups will accommodate any of your movements for the smoothest side sleeping, with zero pressure on your eyelids for all-night comfort. Make better sleep your reality today with 10% off at mantasleep.com.
On Thursday, March 28, 1991, Billy Ray Ballard is charged with 2 counts of aggravated first-degree murder in the deaths of Edward Smith and Kimberly LeVine. In 1991, 6 years after the crimes take place, Wyoming inmate Billy Ray Ballard is brought back to Washington State to face the charges.
Kim's father, Bob LeVine, is in the courtroom when Ballard is brought in. After all this time and effort, Bob isn't about to miss it.
The prosecution is clear that they will seek the death penalty if the case against Ballard goes to trial.
Ballard is already in prison for the abduction and rape of a convenience store worker in Wyoming, and he's suspected of abduction, rape, and attempted murder in Idaho.
And a murder in Texas, where the body was dumped like eddies in a pit. It's a crime that has Ballard's MO written all over it.
It takes more than past deeds and suspicions to get a new conviction. The prosecution needs to show hard evidence, and they believe they've got a pile of it.
We had a gun that had the same type of rope. We recovered rope that was identical with rope that was used to bind them out of his vehicle. So we felt we had more than enough with the fingerprint and all the other evidence, the boots, everything that we could convict.
At trial, the prosecution, with the help of now Chief Deputy in charge of investigations, Michael Shea, paints a clear picture of what they think happened back in March of 1985.
Edward Smith and Kimberly LeVine take a road trip in their brand new Toyota Corolla and stop at a scenic overlook above the Columbia River. Unfortunately for them, Billy Ray Ballard stops in his white van at the same spot. He gets out.
He may have already been there, or he may have pulled in while they were there. My opinion is he forced them back into their car and had them drive to this remote location on Beverlyburg Road.
This is wide open, empty country. If you drive off the interstate in almost any direction, you're likely to be on your own.
Our county is 2,700 square miles, and it's pretty open. So if he just told her or him to just start driving, all he did was have him drive down the river and take the first road to the left and up the hill, and it was all sagebrush. And he found a first dirt road, took a left on the first dirt road.
When the car arrived at the top of the quarry, Ballard told the couple to get out of the car.
They didn't have to go very far when he found a pit that people were dumping trash in.
Ballard ties Kim and Eddie's hands and forces them to walk down the pit.
And unfortunately, she had to witness his killing because the foot tracks going down where we found Ed Smith had Ed Smith's tracks, the female's footprints, and Billy Ray Ballard's footprint.
Shay says the evidence shows that Kimberly and Edward walked down the pit together.
So she actually got to witness